Not that long ago, guys, the show Tulsa King, the show you mostly watch just to see a strong performance from Sylvester Stallone as Dwight Manfredi, concluded its third season. And you can't expect it to be better than the second season that really delivered close to the first season, but sadly the third one is another disappointing season, and we will talk about that today, guys. I will first lead with a positive critique, however, before I come with the negatives. What makes it better than the second season is that it has a clear villain in Jeremiah Dunbar. In the second season, you were not sure whether that was Treasure, the crazy guy he hired to be head of the illegal workers at the wheat plant, Chicken Venezia, or Bebalacqua from Kansas City. But in this third season, we at least have mostly only one villain in the ruthless Dunbar, and he's probably the best villain since Waltrip from the motorcycle gang in the first season. Of course, Quiet Ray may be considered a villain in season 3, but he is not anywhere near the direct threat to Dwight's crew that Dunbar is, so that was one of the few good things. Now on to the bad. We start with the Tyson problem. Tyson is okay as a character, and it is not that he necessarily is a bad character, but the problems he deals with becomes too important in the story, such as trying to be successful as a man trying to earn his keep for the boss, showing his value. To me, he simply takes too much of the story. For example, when he is involved with a stripper that tricks him when he is drunk and the others just abandon him, or when he sells drugs with Spencer acting like a fake cop. Now, some of those scenes are important, but it takes away from the important stories such as the duel between Dwight and Dunbar. That is just one problem with this season. Another very big problem with this third season is the soft choices that they make in the story. In earlier seasons, it was much more dramatic and a lot of more important characters loses their lives and the crew was way more in trouble. Bodhi, for example, lost his best friend in the second season. Shiki killed his father before he was killed himself because he got too crazy. Dwight's family was also in danger back in New York. In this season, however, it is only Jeremiah Dunbar that loses his life among the important characters because it was either him or Dwight that had to go down. So that ending was quite inevitable. The cold character, the black sheep son of the father that kinda hates him, is the one that makes these soft choices possible. He warns Spencer about the hotel and many people will die. He tells where Joanne is being kept when she is kidnapped. If he had not done this, the show could have been way more dramatic. And of course, Margaret and Treasure might have been killed, making a way more dramatic and dark season. Same thing with Joanne, the rescue could have been way more dramatic. As a character that wants to atone for his actions and be better, I understand that, because he did kill the father of Cleo, he did try to take Dwight down, so he also did bad things, but in a way he got tired of doing his father's bidding and realized that he got too crazy, especially after meeting Spencer. That was his only shining light in a difficult life, but that does not change the fact that the formation of this character makes the show less dramatic and dark. A third negative in the show is how the episodes are quite short, and then we struggle to really describe the most important moments because there are too many things going on at the same time. That's something they also did in the second season. For example, the shootout where Colt tries to kill Manfredi while he has a sit-down with Quiet Ray in Arkansas, and the latter Manson gets caught in the crossfire is cut very short, because at the same time we also see Bodhi and Grace making livers, in addition to Cleo and Mitch, in addition to the bomb that leads to the explosion at the hotel. That's another example where everybody eventually gets out in time. The only episode where the most important moments do not feel streamlined is in the last episode, which is probably the strongest, as Dwight's crew storms in to get Joanne back and take down Dunbar. The fourth problem is the Musso problem. You know this federal agent that wants Manfredi to do favors for him and take down this ruthless terrorist that kills innocent women and children, but also has killed the partner of this man, so it gets personal. Naturally, there's some interesting comedy between these two, and it creates a certain mystique that Dwight disappears in the most important moments, but it stops there because I feel that when Dwight is not there in the most important moments shared by the rest of the crew, then the show does not have the same punch in the scenes, although it is tense when Bevalacqua almost discovers Dwight being an informant in the middle of this season. That's why, of course, Musso also has to take him out of the picture so he cannot reveal what Dwight is really doing, being away during important moments. Dwight is, of course, the best character in the show, and when he then has to deal with this fatal dynamic, again creates a boring narrative, despite there being a little comedy between them. As I now have told you about the flaws, I will also say I like the back and forth between Dwight and Dunmire over this liquor business. Who has the 50 or not, and he has to be the strongest adversary this crew has ever faced. Samuel L. Jackson also does a cool guest role, although it kinda feels like a filler character. It is still enjoyable to watch Sylvester Stallone as Dwight Freddy, but it is by far the weakest season yet, and the inconsistency combined with soft choices and other things I have talked about, I cannot give it more than a 5.5 out of 10, and I hope for a much better fourth season once that one comes out.